In this series, Herd Strategies President Denise Herd connects with industry leaders and community members to discuss the challenges they face within their fields. Join us bi-weekly to learn all about how they see us.
Hi, I'm Denise Herd, and in today's episode of How They See Us, I want to talk a little bit about something that came up in one of my recent classes. As many of you know, I'm an adjunct professor at IU Indianapolis, and one of my students asked me about code switching and wanted to know my thoughts about code switching. And I will tell you, in my 10 plus years of teaching, I have never had a student ask me that question. And so it got me to thinking about, the times that, I have code switched, and what does that say about me, and what does that mean, and why did I do it? And I thought maybe it might be time to have a conversation about code switching and why it is we do it, and for what reasons. And so I did a little research, and in that research, there are some reasons why, people might find the need to code switch. It may just be automatic. Sometimes we just float in and out of language, of dialect, of word usage, and we don't even realize that we're doing it. So code switching can present itself in that way. We may code switch or change how we're talking because we want to get something. We may need something, and we know that sounding like the audiences that we're speaking to or trying to connect with will create a connection that we're desiring. So we may code switch to fast forward into that relationship. We may code switch because it may help us convey a thought that we're trying to convey, and change up the dialect or the language and keep people from understanding what it is that we're saying. We might be in quote mixed company and may want only certain people to understand what we're saying. So we may code switch then. So the people that need the message, or the people that need to hear the message or receive the message, are able to do so and understand, and also respond accordingly. So those are just some of the things I thought about when it comes to code switching and why it happens. But then I also thought, code switching presents itself in many, many different ways. It could be not just linguistic, not just how we speak or what we say. It could be presented in sociological means as well. How we may adapt to cultural norms, how we may adapt within certain environments and in which we live or work. Our neighborhoods, we may behave in a certain way or drive in a certain way or invite guests over and manage them in a certain way based upon the norms that are established for that environment. It also appears in physical ways as well. How we may choose to dress, how we may choose to do things like even wearing our hair, which led me to even delve even deeper into this topic and look at the Crown Act. The Crown Act was established in 2019 by our friends in California to basically pass legislation that prevents an employer or even an academic institution from accepting an individual based upon how they wear their hair, their natural hair, that may be braids or Bantu knots or locks, just hairstyles or hair maintenance methods that may not conform to what society says is required for us to fit in and blend in our environments or organizations. And so and after looking at that, I did a little more research because, I myself am going through a phase right now where I just don't know what to do with my hair. So I've gone to braids, and I've been in braids for a while and may be in braids a little bit longer. And something that I realized is that Indiana is one of 13 states in our nation that has never introduced or passed Crown Act legislation. So what does that say for women or even men in this community that don't want to conform to societal standards as they define how we are supposed to look and behave and wear our hair when we want to be employed or elevate our academic levels within their institutions. I think it says a lot, and it's given me something to marinate on. And I hope it has given something for you to marinate on as well. And so I encourage you, particularly to all my sisters who have made the decision to wear protective hairstyles, to wear their natural hair, to go back to how we were born and get rid of the chemicals that we've put in our hair over time. I encourage you to push our legislators to enact law that will protect us in our place of employment and not require us to conform. I push you to push yourselves to step out of your comfort zone and go back to your natural hair. Or even if you decide not to celebrate those sisters and celebrate one another that are pursuing pathways that are preventing us from code switching, or helping us not to code switch when we feel code switching is the only way that we can push forward and succeed in society. So those are my thoughts, good, bad, or indifferent. And I encourage you to give a little thought to what I've given a little thought to. You heard it here. Thank you for listening.